In the quiet corners of history, humanity has often been its own worst enemy. Not with dramatic wars or natural disasters, but through a slow parade of confident, terrible decisions. This is a journey into those times we almost erased ourselves, not by chance, but by choice. Our story begins in the Middle Ages with medicine. The philosophy was simple. If something is wrong inside, remove fluids until balance is restored, or the patient stops complaining. This was bloodletting. Fever? Bloodletting. A cough? Bloodletting. Feeling melancholic? Better to bloodlet just in case. The logic was a closed loop. Sick people are weak. Weakness must be from too much blood. Therefore, remove it. Leeches were colleagues, and fainting was a sign of progress. When plague swept through towns, this practice turned catastrophic. People already weakened by hunger and disease were systematically drained of life. And if they worsened, the diagnosis was clear. Not enough blood had been taken. The solution to a failing cure was always more of the same. While medicine was busy bleeding the living, dietary wisdom worked on the rest. During famines, authorities warned against fruits and vegetables. They were considered too moist, thought to corrupt the body's vital humors. Instead, people were told to eat dry, heavy foods, stale bread, thick porridge, meat if you could get it. But in a famine, meat was a fantasy, and bread was scarce. The only available foods were the forbidden ones. So people made the responsible choice. They ate nothing. The body, already starved of energy, would then expend its last reserves trying to digest the little tough food it received. Generations thinned out, guided to their end by authoritative, compassionate, deadly advice. Then there was the water. Medieval cities were marvels of human ingenuity, except for the part where they poisoned themselves daily. The waste management principle was optimistic. Once it leaves the house, it's not our problem. Everything flowed into the streets, into open pits, and directly into the rivers. These same rivers provided drinking water, washed clothes, and brewed beer. Ale became popular for a reason. The fermentation process was safer than water that had recently hosted a neighborhood's worth of regrets. When sickness spread, no one blamed the water. It looked clean. Blame fell on bad air, sinful behavior, or the alignment of stars. The response was to burn incense, ring church bells, or flee, carrying the disease to new towns. The water, the true culprit, flowed on, unchallenged. As disease tightened its grip, society needed a villain. Germs were invisible, but cats were not. They were quiet, independent, active at night, suspicious. They were linked to witches and darkness. So a great purge began. Cats were killed in vast numbers, an act of pious communal hygiene. Unfortunately, cats were the primary predators of rats. With the cats gone, rat populations exploded. The fleas they carried thrived. The plague, which the cats had helped contain, now found limitless hosts. The response to the worsening plague? Clearly, not enough cats had been eliminated. The campaign intensified. Humanity had fired its most effective pest control and promoted the epidemic instead. When piety and purges failed, a new movement arose, the flagellants. They believed the plague was God's punishment and that the only way to appease him was through spectacular public penance. Groups of men marched from town to town, whipping themselves bloody in rhythmic devotion. These processions were loud, dramatic, and drew huge crowds. They were also, biologically speaking, perfect disease vectors. Wherever the flagellants went, plague followed. They didn't contain the disaster. They turned it into a touring company of death. But it felt like action. It felt like meaning. When the world is crumbling, doing something terrible feels better than doing nothing at all. All of this was amplified by the very design of medieval life. Cities were built for density, not health. Walls promised safety from armies, but inside, people were stacked together like cordwood. Streets were narrow, sunlight was scarce, and waste was ubiquitous. When sickness entered this environment, it didn't spread, it ignited. Isolation was impossible. The city, a triumph of community, had become a perfect incubator. In the end, the most astonishing thing is not how close we came to the edge, but that we somehow survived it. We survived not because our systems worked, but because humans are stubborn. Survival happened in the cracks between disasters, in the rare moments someone accidentally did the right thing. Progress crept in quietly, long before understanding arrived. The story of these near deletions is not about ancient stupidity, it is a mirror. It shows us a species trapped in its own reasoning, clinging to familiar ideas even as they fail, preferring the comfort of a wrong answer to the terror of a question. We almost vanished not because we were weak, but because changing our minds was and remains the hardest thing we will ever do.